Welcome to the Schwowin's Nest. My name is Sandra, and I'm so glad you're here. If you're new to my channel, I'd love it if you could hit that red subscribe button. And for all of my current subscribers and viewers, thank you so much for your support. I have been shopping my stash lately, and I took you in that room a while ago. I'm not going to share it with you today because it's pretty messy, but I found these two frames that are have the little mirrors on the inside, and these are from IKEA. Now, I did find these at a thrift store and they were brand new. And at first here I was going to do something with both of them, but now I decided I'm just going to cut this piece of wood and fill in that little mirror because I don't want that. Once I had it all sanded and cleaned up, then I just used some hot glue and glued it right into the space where the mirror is. Then I grabbed some wood filler and I just filled in all of the little cracks and set it aside to dry. I decided to paint the inside of the square black, and I'm just using a really fat brush here, but it has a nice angle on it, so I'm able to just kind of push right into the edges. And then I ended up using some painter's tape afterwards and just making it a little bit more square so it would look even on all sides. Using some narrow tape from my dollar store, I'm going to put the tape on the bottom, and then I'm going to use a spacer and then another piece of tape, and then I'll pull off the middle one, and that's where I'm going to do the painting. I'm going to repeat this step on the other side of the frame, and then once these are dry, I'll do the same thing on the remaining two sides. I gotta tell you guys, I'm a little addicted to using hot glue in molds, and I did that on a video a couple weeks ago, I think. So I'll have one of those listed down in my description box if you want to see how I did it. This is another mold that I did. It was just a fleur-de-lis pattern, and then I spray painted the front of it white, and now I'm just going to glue it right in the center of this black square. I have these black and white stickers that I got from Temu, I think last year. So if I can find them, I'll leave the link down in my description box, but I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do with them. I thought they would be a really nice accent for this piece. I end up putting them around the fleur-de-lis in the square in the center and then adding a little stencil around it. And I think it turned out really pretty. The stencil that I'm using is from the Dollar Tree. You can see the page sitting there to the left, and these are the little sticky ones. And I like them because you can cut them apart and use them in different areas, different pieces. I'm just going to use this one all the way around the square, and I think that detail really made it pop. The final accent was adding four little tiny stickers in each of the corners, and then I gave it a really good coat of this semi-gloss sealer. This little side table was a steal from the Goodwill for only $1.99. I know it's got some stains on it, but those aren't going to show with what I'm going to do with it. I took the table outside to my garage and I gave it a couple of coats of black satin spray paint, and that's by Rust-Oleum. Now I'm going to be adding some grain sack stripes. So I'm just finding the middle of the table and then I'll be putting the first piece of tape right down the middle. This first piece of tape is just the spacer, and then I'll be adding two more pieces of tape on either side of this one, and then I'll be removing the one in the center. I'm using my favorite paint color, which is called Mushroom. It's sort of a cross between a taupe and a gray. I don't know if I don't have the recipe for this paint in particular because it was a latex paint that I used in my home, but I do have some similar shades on my Amazon store. To create the spaces in between that need to stay black for the grain sack stripe, I decided to use this narrow tape from the dollar store again. I did see someone else do this, and I think it might have been Donna over at Creative by Nature. If you haven't seen her channel, she does a lot of really fun things. She's a fellow Canadian, so go check her out. You're going to repeat the 3-tape process and then pull off the middle one. I'd like to add something on top of the grain sack stripe just to give it more of a whimsical look. It just looks so much better when you've got a little bit of an extra design. So I'm not going to be doing the stencil on top of the grain sack stripes. I'm just going to be doing it on the outside edges. So you see me putting some painter's tape here on the spots that I don't want to paint. For this stenciling, I'm using my trusty Dollar Tree makeup sponge, and I'm going to give this a few coats just to make sure that it has the same texture and quality as the stripes themselves. Once it was completely dry, I sealed it up with 1 coat of Mod Podge. This last thrift flip is using this red vase. I think it was just probably from like a Teleflora or a florist, but I really loved the texture on it. The color, not so much. I'm grabbing this wood round, and I think this one was from the Dollar Tree. It was already painted a different color, so I'm just going to use it in this project. And now I've got these Scrabble letters, and I'm going to be gluing them on the long way. So instead of straight up and down like you would use them in the game itself, I'm just going to turn them so they're a little bit longer and they won't stick up too far over the edge of the round. And of course, I would never be lucky enough to have them fit completely perfect all the way around. So I just measured off this last one and I'm using my miter shears to just trim it and then it will fit perfectly. Miter shears are a crafter's must-have tool. So if you don't have one of these yet, head on over to my Amazon store. I've got a few different styles and prices for you to choose from. To glue these two together, I am going to just use my Weldbond glue. It's my favorite. It glues absolutely everything together. Stone, ceramic, tile, plastic, wood, you name it. This is the glue to have in your stash. Again, listed in my Amazon store. I am going to use a little bit of hot glue in between, and you'd want to make sure you don't put the hot glue on the Weldbond glue because that will just cancel them out. So I'm just going to be placing the stand or the vase right on top of the wood round, and this is going to be a beautiful riser. Once it's set up for a few minutes, I took it out to my garage, spray painted it with the same satin black, and here's how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wanted to give you some really simple and quick ways to upcycle some thrift store finds. Black seems to be the color that I am drawn to lately. I hope you love them as much as I do. If you want to learn how to use hot glue in molds, then check out this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.